from Ethiopia by way of Detroit. Please give a warm deaf poetry welcome to Mr. Mike Ellis.
Ethiopia, 1978. What does a woman do when she gives birth to a beautiful baby girl after her brother's murdered and the government demands $100 to pay for the bullets they used to bruise his body? That woman names that baby that would one day become my best friend, Mezeker. Because in Ethiopia's Amharic language, Mezeker means to remember. Now remember, death is a way of life. You can't avoid strife, and still the next person's struggle is so often worse. In the context of the universe, I wonder, is my story even worth a verse? So many of us race through history chasing this one mystery. Who has suffered the most misery? Now I get confused. Was it the blacks or the Jews? Indians, Asians, or some obscure group of Caucasians? On this occasion, save your idealistic phrases like, there's only one human race. Nah, this here is a competition. Everybody state your case because somebody got to stay in first place, right? Wrong. I don't need the grand prize for pity. I can go overseas or simply ride through the city and see that my standard of living is better than 9/10 of the planet. So when I'm up here slamming poetry, refugees of many nationalities are slamming me for the opportunities I take for granted. If indeed I believe that collectively black people have suffered like no other, can I personally say I've suffered more than a 14-year-old white Bosnian boy who promised to uphold his dead mother's last request to protect his 10-year-old sister from the soldiers that slashed her dress, tied him up with wire, made him watch them steal mom's promise, now he feels like a liar. That's a lot for kids to carry on their own, so no, I don't have a self-pity, the world owes me an apology, and I refuse to move on poem. Because Mezeker means to remember that most tsunami victims don't have a home. And by the way, that includes the Somalians and Kenyans the news coverage never mentioned. Mezeker means I must remember to mention that those malnourished kids with visible ribs you see on TV never make fat jokes or go start riots, but they don't have sympathy for any folks on the latest low-carb diet. Mezeker means most politicians ought to try it before telling a teen child taking care of his 6 siblings alone that selling crack just ain't worth the risk. No, you ain't got no mom and dad, but just go on back to them Project Rats and Roaches and wait until a great opportunity approaches. You should know this. Death is a way of life. You cannot avoid strife, and still the next person's struggle is so often worse. In the context of the universe, your story is worth a verse, but Mezeker means to remember.
Give it up for Mike Ellis.